Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. It is a 3 mana 3/3 and when it enters or attacks you may sacrifice another creature and if you do, draw a card. This triggered ability by itself is already pretty strong in my opinion, simply because if you have a creature to spare you can immediately replace Sephiroth as soon as he enters, which will give you some nice card advantage. But he has another triggered ability that is basically a blood artist on steroids, because whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved this turn, transform Sephiroth. Once transformed, you will receive Sephiroth, 1-winged angel, a 5/5 flying with Supernova, which says, as this creature transforms into Sephiroth, 1-winged angel, you get an emblem with, whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It has another triggered ability, because whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures and if you do, draw that many cards. Sephiroth is a powerful mono-black aristocrats commander, but without any sacrifice fodder he won't do much work. So we play cards like Bitter Blossom, a 2 mana enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. For even more token generation we played Red Hot Invasion, a 2 mana enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep you lose 1 life and amass zombies 1. Furthermore, whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until end of turn. A non-token creature that we can repeatedly sacrifice is Bloodghast, a 2 mana 2/1, this creature can't block, it has haste as long as an opponent has 10 or less life, and whenever a land you control enters, you may return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. As we want to make our opponent sacrifice a bunch of creatures to get Sephiroth's trigger 4 times in a turn, we also play Fumulus, the Infestation, a 4 mana 2/2 with flying and death touch, and whenever a player sacrifices a non-token creature, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. In addition to that, whenever an insect, leech, slug or worm you control attacks, defending player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. An alternative win con in this deck is Gisa, the Hellraiser, a 5 mana 4/4 with War 2 and pay to life, and skeletons and zombies you control get +1/+1 and have menace. Furthermore, whenever you commit a crime, create 2 tapped 2/2 blue and black zombie rogue creature tokens. This ability triggers only once each turn. And lastly, another great creature that will provide sacrifice fodder and powerful blockers is Ophiomancer, a 3 mana 2/2, and at the beginning of each upkeep, if you control no snakes, create a 1/1 black snake creature token with death touch. To make sure that we can flip Sephiroth really quickly, we play a bunch of edict effects. So we play Innocent Blood, a 1 mana sorcery, each player sacrifices a creature. Make sure to only pull this one off when you also have a creature to spare, as you are also targeted with this spell. We can commit a Cursed Marauder to the battlefield, a 2 mana 2/1, and when it enters, each player sacrifices a non-token creature. We play Sheoldred's Edict, a 2 mana instant, choose 1. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, a creature token, or a planeswalker. We play Plaguecrafter, a 3 mana 3/2, and when it enters, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. A new mono-black staple is Will of the Abzan, a 4 mana sorcery, choose 1. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Either any number of target opponents each sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls and loses 3 life, and return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And we also play Liliana's Triumph, a 2 mana instant, each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you control a Liliana planeswalker, each opponent also discards a card. Aside from Sephiroth, we play more Cardadvantage spells. For example, Phyrexian Arena, a 3 mana enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep you draw a card and lose 1 life. We play Village Rites due to the fact that we create a bunch of tokens, a 1 mana instant, as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature and you draw 2 cards. As we play Edict after Edict effect, we also play Morbid Opportunist, a 3 mana 1/3, and whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. A card that I really like in mono black decks is Dark Prophecy, a 3 mana enchantment, and whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Coming back to our token generation, we play Plum the Forbidden, a 2-mana instant, and as an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy the spell for each creature sacrificed this way, and you draw a card and lose 1 life. One of the strongest sacrifice instant speed spells is Deadly Dispute, a 2-mana instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. You draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. You want to win more? You get it. We play Yawgmoth, Front Physician, a 4-mana 2/4 with protection from humans. You can pay 1 life and sacrifice another creature to put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature and draw a card. And its last activated ability says, for 2 mana and discarding a card, you proliferate. Yawgmoth is a great alternative value engine that you can play along Sephiroth to make sure that you get the maximum use out of your tokens, as you can sacrifice them with Yawgmoth at instant speed. We play Driftnod, Carnage Dominus, a 5-mana 8/3, and if a creature dying costs a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. For 2 black Phyrexian mana and exiling 3 creature cards from your graveyard, you put an indestructible counter on Driftnod. Driftnod cares about all creatures dying, so he will definitely accelerate your game plan and flipping Sephiroth. As we are a mono black deck, we play Grave Pact, a 4-mana enchantment, and whenever a creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, each other player sacrifices a creature. This will make sure to keep your opponent's boards in check and will make sure that you will flip Sephiroth really quickly. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I would play in Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next. Make sure to check out my full deck list in the notes below, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.